Unless you re-elect Trump, big tax hikes are coming. It's inevitable. I'm going to show you, man. It's already baked into the system. And if you think the Democrats are going to change this, you're crazy, because they literally don't need to do anything, and you'll get a big tax hike. Yeah. All right. So remember when Trump passed the TCJA, the Tax Cut and Jobs Act of 2017, the only significant legislation that the Republicans put before him, because the Republican Party sucks. You know what I'm saying? They didn't like Trump. They thought they didn't like him, but they like less taxes. That's what a Republican lives for, is less taxes. So they reduced the taxes by increasing the standard deduction significantly. So they got rid of the personal exemptions, but they more than doubled the standard deduction. Maybe not more than that, but we'll go into it. All right, and that was a significant tax reduction for middle-class taxpayers, and particularly, and actually was a tax hike in a lot of ways for wealthy, because they had the SALT, which Joe Biden isn't getting rid of, which is kind of interesting, which is the state and local taxes. They have a $10,000 maximum on state and local tax deductions, i.e. for your real estate tax. So you live in a high income tax state, a high real estate tax state, it sucks to be you, man. You vote for these fools, that's your problem. Get out of there. Anyway, the point being was Trump with TCJA, they increased the standard deduction significantly, which reduced your income tax significantly. And I'm going to prove it right here. The problem with the TCJA and any kind of revenue things like that is it's sunset. So there's something like the Byrd Amendment, the Klansman from the Democratic Party, Robert Byrd, who would they say? Like, he was conscious of the Senate. Okay, I mean, that's what the Democrats said about the Klansman. Crazy. Anyway, he has some kind of thing that if you don't have a supermajority or 60 votes, you can't pass legislation other than like through a reconciliation bill. I'm not familiar with exactly how it works, but it has to sunset. And the sunset provision means basically 10 years, and then it has to be reauthorized. And if it's not reauthorized, they'll default back to what it was pre the provision, if that makes sense. So TCJA wasn't passed with a supermajority or whatever it was, or 60 senators, I can't remember. Anyway, and such, it was only a 10-year time frame. So at the end of 2026, it will go to the way of the dodo bird, just expired, all right? Which means we're going to go back to the personal exemption and a lower standard deduction and higher taxes. Let me prove it to you. All right, so right now we're going to use Right Capital, and I was just doing a video on this about how Social Security is the biggest tax you pay. And then I said, wait a second. I noticed if we go here to retirement, and I'd forgotten about this. It's stunning to me. And I want to do a video on this specifically. So I said, look, whoa, what happened to their taxes here? So we see the tax payments, $13,000 in 2025. Then it goes to $15,000 in 2026. And it's like, why is that? Their income is just going up with inflation. I think I got like 2.5% a year or something like that. And so their income is just increasing with inflation, but the taxes should also be increasing with inflation, but it doesn't here. We take a significant tax hit right here in 2026 to 2025. 15,634 minus 13,554 divided by 13,554. That's a 15% tax hike. 15% tax hike right there. That's not just because of inflation. And I'm like, why? They're still saving. I mean, they're still increasing their planned savings, which is 401k pre-tax contributions. So you can see their total income. All right, let's go here. Let's click on tax payment. We're going to click on federal. And you can see their total income is after 401k contributions, 72,000, 74, 76, 79. And their AGI, you can see right here, is 72, 74, 76, 79, 81. Right here. The deductions, 25, 27, 13. That's standard deduction. Well, but they get the personal exemption to come back. So we get $8,800 as a personal exemption, plus the 13,000 of standard deduction. And you can see we're going to add these together, 8808 plus 13,796, $22,000. $22,000 is about a $5,000 decline in their exemptions. This is above the line. This is standard deductions. You don't need to itemize to get this. You just have to show up. So look, their taxable income increases by $7,000. $49,000 from the previous year divided by 49. That's a 15% increase in taxable income because it went from 49. So look, this is how it works. You got your 401k contribution, $8,000. They make $80,000. They're putting $8,000 a year into their 401k. Adjust for inflation. We have $79,000 of total income. Subtract by your standard deduction. Subtract by your personal exemption. You have $56,000 of taxable income. The previous year, we didn't have a personal exemption. We only have a standard deduction. We had $49,000 of taxable income, which means we pay 15% more in taxes because our tax on $49,000 was $5,500. Our tax on $56,000 is $7,300, and we can go to the 1040 to show you. It's freaking just despicable, these guys. But we're not going to raise taxes on anyone unless you have over $500,000, $400,000 income. So here we go. Here's 2025. Our AGI is $76,000, all right? But that doesn't matter. What matters is how much our taxable income is. So we have our AGI, $76,000. We subtract our standard deduction, which gives us a taxable income of $49,000. $49,000, we pay $5,500 on $49,000. But we actually have $80,000 of income. So we actually pay $5,500 divided by 80,000 of income. Our effective tax rate is 6.8%. Essentially, I mean, it's not quite because we're not adjusting for inflation in that regard, but you get the gist, I hope. So now let's go to 2026. Oh, here our taxable income, because we lose our standard deduction by half, but we don't increase our personal exemption to compensate for the lack of how much we lost in standard deduction. So you can see we only have deductions of, again, this is standard deduction and personal exemptions, not itemization. We only have deductions of $22,000, whereas before in 2025 we had deductions of $27,000 essentially. All right, so we actually increased our calendar year. We should have even more deductions if you factor in inflation for 2026, but we lose the deduction, half our standard deduction, and we don't gain that back with an increase in personal exemption to the amount of money we lost in standard deduction. So here our taxable income is $56,000, whereas before it was $49,000, and so now we're paying $7,300 of taxable income. $7,300 of tax because our taxable income went up by 15%. So $7,300 divided by 80,000 is a 9.1. So what was before a 6.8% increase in effective tax, and again, it's not quite because it's not really 80,000, but still is now 9.1. That's a significant tax increase for middle class Americans, and there you can see it right there. Effective tax rate, it goes from 7.2 feds to 9.3 feds. So that's a 2.1% increase. Oops. 2.1 divided by 7.2. That's a 29% increase in effective tax. 29%. But now if you look at the federal income tax bracket, it goes from 12 to 15. Again, that's a 3%. That's a 3 divided by 12. That's a 25% increase in your tax bracket. But the only thing that really matters is the effective tax rate. And we see right there, 7.2 to 9.3. That's almost a 30% increase in taxes for everybody. These guys can kiss my big fat behind. And all these people, I remember, I'm not going to find it, but I did videos in 2017 and 18 about the TCJA. It's not a tax, it's a tax increase. Because freaking idiots, they only see that they had to owe money on their 1040. And I said, well, because you didn't adjust your withholdings. I was stunned how many people thought it was a tax increase because they owed money. I was like, because you didn't adjust your withholding. It was crazy, man. People just don't understand it. It's nuts, and it's actually quite frustrating because people who should have known better literally thought they were paying more taxes under the Trump tax bill. It was insane. Anyway, so and of course the media just ran with it. So be prepared for a nearly 30% tax hike coming without anything having to be done by just sitting here and looking out the window. All right. What are your thoughts? We'll see you.